Man, it is the final day of July. It's hot, and the pads are not popping yet, but there's helmets, there's very short shorts, football field. I couldn't think of anyone better than the king of Austin, Texas, high school football, high school sports video content. His platforms are outstanding. Snupe Daniel, you've been around the game of Austin, Texas, high school sports. I mean, you have built quite a brand. I love talking about it with you. And just tell me a little bit about right now, what the feeling you have on the first day of practice for Texas high school football.
Well, you know what, Sean? Thank you for having me on the show as always.
Absolutely.
Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast. I have been very busy. This morning I started at Bowie High School. Coach Jeff Abels, entering year.
Legend.
I'm going to get it wrong. What?
Legend.
Well, it's like 19. Well, yeah. Well, I think he's 1 year short of Cheshire, which should make it 19 because Coach Anthony Wood is the longest tenured Round Rock ISD coach with 21 years in 02, and then Cheshire came from North Shore in 03. So he's at 20 this year. I think Abels is a year behind him. So needless to say, he's back out there. He was not able to be at camp last year due to personal issues. So it's a big win for him. And, of course, it's some new dogs out there. But Bowie, I want to call them Cedar Ridge South because I don't know of a team from the Austin area not named Lake Traverse or Westlake, and certainly not from Austin ISD, which makes the playoffs in football more consistently than the Bowie Bulldogs. I know they had a couple of leaner in comparison years in the past couple of years, like in 16, et cetera. I mean, a couple of first-round exits against Hendrickson and Cedar Ridge, aforementioned. But Bowie has been very good for very long, and I don't expect that to change this year.
One thing that Snoop does that he is, and by the way, we got to give a shout-out to Honest AC and Plumbing, the big sponsor of this podcast. They're part of the sponsorship family, if you will. They're based in the Hutto area, but for the northern suburbs in North Austin, and their big slogan, if you really read into it, where a handshake still means something. It means they stand behind their work, and they're fans of Snupe Daniel as well, by the way. There's the Snupe Daniel handshake, fist bump, whatever you like. But
well, I know the new Hutto High School, which will also have hippos as a mascot, will be needing air conditioning as well. So.
Is that right? What I heard? I know. Is it the outgoing superintendent? Is that right? Or somebody said, I forgot when the new school was voted on, that we are all hippos in Hutto.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's going to be a second Hutto High School and Hutto ISD. They have grown to the size of 3A back in the day, soared past 5A, and now people kind of forget they're 6A because they were in the Round Rock district that we talked about earlier, but they have been since moved up further north and playing the likes of Temple and Bryan and Copperas Cove, along with Weiss. So honestly, they're kind of, even though they're our Hutto Hippos, they're kind of pushed out there. They're in a whole nother even region. So theoretically, they could wind up playing an Austin area team in state, being in District 12-6A, which is Region 2.
Right.
All the rest of 6A Austin is Region 4. So that could technically happen. But all that to say, Hutto has grown so much right off the tollway, which makes it super. Like if you don't have to deal with 35 and 183, at least right now, the tollway makes life immensely easier and housing is cheaper out there. So get a lot of folks moving out there. The new high school is opening. Hutto Hippos is one of the few mascots or schools to have Hutto or the Hippos as a mascot. So I think I heard it first from Coach Bradley LaPlante, who stepped down as head coach to become athletic director and said that they're going to roll with the Hippos as a new school mascot. And he actually will oversee both old school Hutto and new school Hutto as the new athletic director. And I think that's one of the things that kind of, we're talking about Hutto and the athletic director, but because of your sponsor and Honest AC, or just what's going on out there, is he's felt compelled to lead the entire city of Hutto in both athletic departments. So like being high school football coach is really damn cool. And Coach Compton is having a blast doing it with his son as a senior this year, Tristan Compton, who is a D1 long snapper prospect, but look at Coach LaPlante. He has two sons on varsity, one a senior, one a junior. So for him to step down from that role, it took a bit of unselfishness for him as well, to not be able to coach his sons, because that's something that you almost hear every head coach talk about. Like, I feel like Coach Carter, nobody talks about him retiring, but man, if you look at his sons, those kids are getting big. They're going to be on that varsity field one day. And who's to say once they're done that Coach Carter's like, got my 7 or whatever. But all that around to say that motivation for Hutto. Hutto's a great place, and a Coach LaPlante is going to lead both Hutto Hippos programs to success.
No doubt, Bradley LaPlante, good man, and I can't wait to see. I've met his sons before. I have not met Coach Carter's son. Cashton.
They're still young though. I want to say they are still like 7th grade, so I think they go to Hudson Bend. I do not cover junior high. That's why it's called VAR. I'm only in varsity. So, but the LaPlante sons have been, because it's so hard to make varsity on Hutto. So even as the head coach's son, like they ain't even getting over somebody, because they got some dogs there. But now they've earned their spot. But Coach LaPlante is going to help everyone, and Coach Compton's a great pick. He's so passionate, and those guys, him and LaPlante, you see their interactions on social, and you can't fake that kind of chemistry. They're good for each other, and I think it's going to be good for the city. So, Honest Air Conditioning and Plumbing INC, you got a winner.
You got a winner, and Hutto's has some good coaches, Van Meter, and then of course LaPlante was on his staff, and I look at him now, but. Change is inevitable, and change is part of Snupe's life this year. Man, you have your own brand now. Man, you have really, really earned the trust, shown Central Texas, Austin, what you're capable of on so many different platforms, radio, digital, with Fox 7 here in Austin. Man, the natural born storyteller, the everything, but the digital content now. You're out on your own. And VAR, make sure you do the underscore, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't want that. I think VAR Austin, God knows, but the kids, have you seen what they have to resort to using for their names? Weird letters, numbers, there's nothing out there left for them to make their name normal. So for me to simply put the underscore hashtag in between VAR and Austin is fine, because I've seen kids the real, somebody was saying, the real John with 4 N Smith with the I as a 1, and that's the only goddamn thing they can get. That's effing terrible. So underscore, I'll take it.
It's all good. So what's different?
Sorry if that was bad.
No, it was not bad. That's just being real.
No, yeah.
Transparent, being real. What's different? I mean, what are you going to add? Because with ATX, your former brand, with the now former Horn, you created something that I don't think anyone can duplicate, or someone could, but what you did, it was only you and some students.
Yes. Well, you can duplicate it, but rinse and repeat for a year, a season, sports over semesters, over 2 years, over 3 years, over a whole graduating class, over their little brothers through their graduating class and everything. That's the toughest part, is the consistency. I think almost anybody can get it done for a season.
Yeah.
I think, as hard as that is, I think that's easy, but okay, do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
All right.
Do it again. Do it again. And every again is a whole year. And every year you might not be doing it for your living, which I didn't for the majority of my life. So the commitment is an effort is number one. The passion is number two. They both have to be off the meter. And it's a hard sport to do because you can't gamble in it. And if people aren't making money off of it in other ways, sad to say, the kids are going to suffer. It might take NIL being made legal for little kids and high school to really start making some cash for people to really start giving an F. And
I think that's coming.
Doing the simple things. It's even turning in their damn stats. I'm not calling it. Well, I am calling it. I won't name schools, but I could.
Oh,
And their kids know. Y'all aren't turning in your stats. You're letting your kids play varsity games. You're turning in your goddamn stats. They have been playing, training for years. You aren't turning in their accomplishment. The media can't talk about them because there's no record of what they've done. They might as well not even exist. I was having the same conversation with several kids across the area, and the coaching staffs were gone because the situation with this one particular school I'm really thinking about. There were some kids who had some bad ass seasons.
no record.
Official stats. No record.
Horrible.
I mean, the kid had. I mean, like, and coaches are just want to give you a reason to look at the next kid. Oh, there ain't no numbers on this guy. Nah. Like that will get you. And then like all that work that you made them do. Okay, well, it got you past this year, but I don't know. You could go down so many like different lanes, but that is definitely something. And honestly, like it,
No, it's
in
true.
the main vein of sports, it's not overly important. There's lots of big issues, just like turf on all the fields, etc. But as far as the effort for coaching staffs for their kids, if you really, really care about them, you have to make that effort to tally what they do and report it.
It's in a timely manner, please. I mean, I get it.
This is before the season, so, and I can make another plea. Kids who, no, never mind. Listen to kids. Kids can mess up because they're kids, so I won't get on them. But I'll get on coaches if Max Preps and the UIL is asking you to submit numbers for your kids, and they're like, why aren't we getting covered? Why aren't people talking about this?
Self-report. Yeah. You know who does a good job at that? Drew Sanders.
A lot of people.
There's
a lot of yes.
And look at that. Great segue.
Vandy Perf.
Vandy Perf.
One of the small things. It's one of the small things that makes Vandegrift great. They've been doing it consistent since Euron Shears and Dakota Prukop days when they were going 0-10. You would get all their damn stuff. You would get pancake numbers. What the shit went 0-10?
Hey,
and
Dakota.
You know where Drew Sanders came from? Travis High School.
Travis High School, baby.
So, Joe Frank, you got my boy. You got a lot to live up to. He wasn't the head coach. That was Armando Jacinto days, but yeah.
I'm a big fan of Joe Frank. I think he does so much.
Yes, my boy.
He's
awesome, dude.
He,
and he cares. He's at those games, like I know, like a lot of you see a lot of athletic coordinators at the games taking pictures and photos, but they don't have to do that. Like, no. They don't have to, and it makes the other athletic coordinators and stuff feel bad because they're like, man, he's the athletic coordinator and he's acting like it.
He's
not just entitled.
He's one of the good ones. I think he and his program would be a good story here on this podcast. I really do.
Joe, but let's please talk about Vandegrift because I did post on the story that they're the closest thing to being to reaching the prestige of a Westlake and Lake Travis than any school in this area, and I would almost venture to say that I don't know. I was about to say they are about to pass Lake Travis, but man, those 6 stars in that Lake Travis helmet says that Lake Travis has done 6 things that Vandegrift ain't done one time, and Vandegrift just finally made it to one. So let's pump the brakes.
Yeah, they played for a state championship. I do think this year.
So recency bias. You go to state last year, people.
They're talking about. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say this. This may be unpopular.
You're the king of unpopular takes.
Yeah,
but in a good way.
That's true. He's not wrong.
Please.
I think they're the best.
At least you preface it. You're so nice.
Yeah. I think Vandy will be the best football program in Austin this season. Austin area.
Possible. And they've never been known as a big, and I watch them pretty close. Like, they have homebred kids who work from the time they are in Pee Wee Viper to get that 1 year on varsity.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of kids who only play 1 year, and they're like all state that 1 year because the kids in front of them are so awesome. You never hear about transfers at Vandegrift. And just so happens they have probably two of the biggest names in high school sports from a school who has never done it and is starting to get mentioned on the level of Westlake Lake Travis. And now they're doing that Westlake Lake Travis thing where Caleb Burton is coming over from Del Valley to Lake Travis, or it's Nikia Watson leaving Manor to come to Westlake. Now it's Canyon's Deuce Adams coming to play quarterback. When they had Drew Mastermaker, who I think still will play some, but he's really good, and Jacob Henry from Lake Travis. Like, you can't get a bigger personality.
Mark Henry's
son, right. For those, like, just speaking so, like, and that is a fault of mine. I do talk about these kids so candidly. I don't even reference who they are.
Yeah. See,
but yeah.
But both of my
so on two sides of the ball, and actually, it might be one side of the ball because I'm hearing and what I've seen that Jacob could play majorly on offense, which would be a switch because he was mainly and didn't play offensive line. Lake Travis had all the linemen. They had so many linemen. You know, like low-key Lake Travis, dude, they're a line factory, dude. They had guys who could have played, started, couldn't even get on the field because they had like beasts. And so I don't think that was necessarily his preferred position. But with Jacob going to a new school, I think he's always been open, but going to a new environment, he's even more so. And I think they can more immediately use his aggressiveness on that line, protecting Deuce Adams, maybe even garnering Jacob a new skill. And who knows, he could wind up developing into a D1 offensive lineman when I think everybody's predicting him to be a defense because, the aggressiveness of a wrestler, I think you just automatically think aggression, sack, but he could be maybe with this is way deep, but his nourishing and empathetic nature of human nature that he is, because if you know him, how like caring of a human he is, like maybe his greater role is as a protector.
No, great family, great work ethic.
And if they go to state, I mean, like, I would say it looks like the universe is trying to send them back because you go, this happens. Grayling Spring passes away a week after, a couple of weeks after. Yes, the Grayling Spring game now named after his honor is awesome mom Krista, but that's sad, but that does have an effect, and trust me, there's going to be a lot of Grayling Spring themed things in 2020. I don't know that for a fact, but I can only imagine. So you take those emotional, and going to state, you bring back a lot of talent. Vandy Perf is something that I coined because I saw it early. I'm like, dog, they're coming. Like, I don't know if y'all see these dog. They're doing it in a perfect way. Yeah. Vandy Perf. I don't know if y'all know this or not. And they just pop, and it's culminated.
It's not overnight.
Crazy. This is kid Jack Walkie. He is on the Nebraska Cornhuskers roster as a quarterback now, where Dr. Susan Elza is, former UIL director.
With Bob Wager.
He had to leave Vandegrift as a sophomore because he could not crack the rotation. He had to go to IMG Florida to play. Fast forward today, he's on the roster at Nebraska. That is how good Vandegrift has been for this long. They just, like, the humps they haven't been able to get over. Last year might have been the first, and they had they were hanging in. DeSoto pulled away late. Vandegrift had a chance in the third quarter, but Vandegrift is next, and I don't. This is how good I feel they are. I feel that as good as 25-6A is, I feel that we could have 3 different playoff teams this year, and the only repeat returner is Vandegrift.
I could easily see that.
And then who's going to beat Vandegrift? The only team I think that can fuck with Vandy, look that up if you need to, is like a Dripping Springs. Somebody who has that same psycho perfection attitude that Galen Zimmerman has. Galen Zimmerman and Drew Sanders are psychos in the same way that they are. Dude, football, bro. They're serious, like how I am with covering. That's how they are with coaching, and that's why it's only apropos that they played twice. That like Vandegrift has opened the season against Cedar Park for as long as I can freaking remember. Why Dripping Springs all of a sudden? It's because they respect them.
So Vandegrift, Lake Travis, I think will make a leap this year. Westlake will be Westlake. Dripping Springs, sustainable success. Before we get to your players to watch, who are your quick teams to watch?
Anybody that didn't make the playoffs last year. I mean, that's how slim of a margin that is, and that includes the Westwood Warriors, who Dave Campbell's picked to finish dead last. That includes the McNeil Mavericks, who have been I've been covering since 2010. I've never known McNeil to ever make the playoffs. And I want to say this is the best McNeil team I've seen in 10 plus years. So take that for what you will. Vista Ridge, they had more super sophomores 2 years ago on my list than any other Austin area team. They should theoretically be outstanding. So, yeah, any team that didn't make the playoffs. If you make the playoffs, the target's on your back.
I like that. And then real quick, your 3 players to watch this year.
Well, if you watch VAR, you see that my lists are anything but concise. Just of linemen, I did a top 100. Just of offensive linemen, just the DBs, I did a top 90. So for you to ask me to do 3 players is cruel and unusual. Man, I want to say somebody not Jack Kaiser, not Will Hammond, and not Leonard Moore, who are going to be the pop standard du jour top players to watch because they are the cream of the crop. I would say Tillman Santana. He's a sophomore. He's not going to start this year. It's going to be Jax Madden Brown. He might not even start next year. But I think he could be the best Weiss quarterback ever. And he's just come off his freshman year. He's very humble. But I've seen him. I know it's coming. Kenneth Calbus. I guess I'll go 3 quarterbacks. Another guy who's coming off his freshman year. He actually played a little bit as a freshman on varsity. Stony Point doesn't have Cam Cook, who's at TCU. Braylon James is at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think Kenneth Calbus is a hallway leader and a locker room leader, and he's going to grow as his team grows. For the future of Stony Point, I think you watch how he develops. And last but not least, Carson McMullen. He's a quarterback for Buda Johnson. This will be his first full year of playing. He has always had great upside, but Jesse Medina has been a quarterback for them who has kind of been with them from the early days, and I don't think he was ever going to play over Medina because of what he meant to the team. It took an injury to Jesse for Carson to eventually play, but then eventually Carson got hurt. But this summer, he took the team to the state 7-on-7 Final Four. And they should have beat A&M Consolidated. The home team, they got screwed over by the referees. I think Carson McMullen is a special quarterback talent that nobody really knows about, in part because he's been hurt, and in part because Buda Johnson, they know the school, but they don't have a lot of star power, I think. And Kenneth Calbus, Stony Point. The Tillman Santana for Weiss is a big reach, but it'll be one that you might not even hear until 2 years from now. And then Carson McMullen on the more immediate for Buda Johnson.
It's a good list.
It's a not obvious list, but I think 3 guys you're going to hear from. So watch for them.
We can't wait. We can't. Snoop is a wealth of knowledge.
We didn't see Jack Kaiser. We can't be watching him. We didn't see Leonard Moore.
We know who Jack Kaiser is at Westlake.
They're so awesome.
Good program. Tony Salazar. Good man. Todd.
I'll give you. Can I give you 3 defenders? Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Keandre Lewis out of Lake Travis, safety transfer from Del Valley. Elliot Shopper, he'll be a junior safety for Westlake, number 31. I think he'll lead the team in tackles, and I don't even think anybody really knows his name. And one more from Westlake, Brody Wilhelm. I think he is a Division I bound receiver, and I think he'll be not as good as Ed Small, because I think Ed Small could be generational, but I think he's going to be up there.
Ed Small, legit,
Yeah.
2-star.
We ain't watching Ed Small. We ain't watching for Ed Small. Ed Small been a star since he was in junior high. So
That guy was a star. His dad was a lineman at Vanderbilt.
yeah. Oh, Clint.
Oh, Clint. Yeah. Clint's good people. You know him.
What did his granddad do? He did something at UT.
His dad, his granddad, the OG Ed Small. I forgot what was he a tight end?
He was on a national championship team because he shows me his ring.
Yeah. He's still kicking and doing well.
He is. Because he would come to Annie's lacrosse games when he played at St. Michael's. I want to shout out to St. Michael's, who helped me while I was just starting my new brand. St. Michael's, Georgetown, and who all the schools who support me, because there are a lot. But I felt like Georgetown and St. Michael's have gone overboard to make sure that I got on my feet, and everybody else that helped me steadied it. And now I'm ready for my biggest year ever.
I can't wait, man. And go ahead and follow Snoop at his new brand, his own brand, at @var_Austin. This is what it looks like right here, at @var_Austin. I'm going to give you my pick. The best game's the first game, the Taco Shack Bowl. Anderson, McCallum. Don't know who's going to win it, but I'm going to go ahead and wait. But today's the first day of training for that first game.
It is.
And you got to follow my guy here. And hey, real quick, where's your go-to spot nowadays for nightlife?
The latrine after I'm drinking 8 glasses of water a day.
Latrine. Much love for Snoop and the OG Man Cave boys. That being Hardball Harsh, Big Mike, and Coach Mo.
Shout out Harsh.
We are out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.